Hey, welcome to Outsider Reviews. I am Pat, and today we have the 2023 Volkswagen Tiguan Comfort Line R-Line. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but the R-Line has to do with the aesthetics because it's still a comfort line. The R-Line is top trim. This is just one trim below that one. And today we're going to find out everything that this crossover has to offer. We're going to start off right away with the front fascia right here. So with the R-Line, what you get is a blacked out grille instead of some chrome. I'm a fan of not having the chrome, so I love the look of that. You also have obviously your big Volkswagen badge, some LED lighting that comes with it, and the R telling you this is an R-Line trim. So no fog lights below, we just have sensors, and again, blacked out grille. Now, this vehicle gives you about 221 pounds-feet of torque and 184 horsepower through an 8-speed transmission. It's a 2-liter turbocharged engine. It's actually got quite a little bit of pep. I found that in lower speeds, we're talking between 0 and 50 kilometers an hour, meaning when you're in the city going from stop sign to stop sign, it has quite a lot of pep. But in higher speed, it's not such as it's still a V4, still a 2-liter. You're not going to beat anybody in a race on the highway, but that's for later. We'll talk about that later. Now, if we come around here, we have a pair of 19-inch rims, and we have blacked out rims again that comes with the R-Line on this comfort line. They actually look pretty nice, and I like the look of them. Over here, we have the R-Line badge that continues with the theme with the blacked out mirrors and a bit of a black line. Now, I'm going to take a break a little bit from showing you some features because at Outsider Reviews, we don't hide anything. One, we're not paid and we're not big enough to be like have all the attention from Volkswagen and such. But if you come in here, Luke with the camera, you'll notice this vehicle is barely a year old and there's some rust spots showing. Now, we are in northern Quebec, so rust is something that happens, but it shouldn't happen at a vehicle that has less than a year, even if it doesn't have rust proofing. Now, if you live around here, everybody should get their car rust proof. That should be a no-brainer. However, 1 year, I find that unacceptable, and that's something that you guys should know about, and that's why we're showing it to you. Now, we're coming back over here. We have keyless access in the front, not in the back. Same size tire and wheel in the back for the rear tires. And then when we come in the back here, we have again LED lighting for the brake lights and rear lights. Tiguan badge, which used to be down here, and it's over here now, a little bit bigger. And the Volkswagen badge as well. This is a all-wheel drive vehicle, and you can tell by the 4Motion badge that's over here. And it also comes with a variety of drive modes, but the all-wheel drive is pretty much always engaged. Now, these are just cutouts. The exhaust is tucked right in. And we're going to go right into the back of it from here. Tons of cargo space. Now, you can lift that, and it's actually deeper than the space you have here. But you can also store your cover here, which attaches over here, and you can just hide your stuff, your groceries in the back as well. Some handy dandy hooks for your grocery bags. This is always good to have. We do have some hooks as well. Tie downs. And over here you have your 12 volt along with some LED lighting. Now, the back seat release, you just pull that, and again on this side as well. So what you're looking at right now is what, 60-40 split. However, this is a 40-20-40 split all in all. But when the seats are up, you actually have quite a big capacity here. You have 35 cubic feet of storage, which is pretty handy. Now I'm gonna lift these back up. So yeah, it doesn't lie completely flat. This is about as flat as it lies. And so it is a bit of an angle, as you can tell. But I mean, that's not a big deal in my books. We can open the split here. And this is where you put your hockey sticks, which I actually have a hockey game tomorrow. I'll be pretty happy to have this car. Or skis, for those that ski. Now, this is right over here, Luke. This is a manual tailgate, but it does say on our spec sheet that it's because of productive issues, constraints with the supply line. So you can get it automated. It's just this one is not, and that's about a $300 feature that they credited on the total price, which I actually had the price sheet here. So we can go over that price right now. It's about $42,000 Canadian, okay, which is about $35,000 US, I believe. And so then you have freight charge and all that stuff. So, you know, you can easily add up to about $44,000. Good price. We just reviewed a Buick Envision, comparable in size last week, and that was a little bit higher on the price wise. However, there are other vehicles that you can find that, you know, are a little bit cheaper, but we'll go over that at the end of this review. I'll tell you what you can compare this to and price wise, where is this going. So since we have the back seat open, let's go right in the back seat. Now, back seat, we have the cup holders right here, and we have a 12-volt plug-in right here and a USB-C. There's no USB-A port. This is useless storage. I don't know where you're gonna put here, but it's there. As well as space. Now this is adapted to my driving position, but I actually drive pretty far back because I have bad knees, so I usually extended. So this is actually quite a lot of space. It's about 38 inches of leg room back here, which is really good. And I actually can fit quite just fine here underneath the seat. Can tuck in your feet, you got lots of room. And these were rated by Consumer Reports to a 5 out of 5 for comfort in the back seats. So that's one thing that I read up on the Consumer Report on this. It's rated pretty good for back seat. Headroom, not a problem, especially with the sunroof there open. It's really not an issue. Got some LED lighting at the top here, and the holy shit handle, can't forget that one, and a little bit of a storage right here in the front. So that basically takes care of the back seat. Now we're gonna go and see all the fun and bells and whistles in the front. All right, so right here in the front seat, what we have is when you open the door, you have this tan leather, which you know, I don't know if I'm a fan of. I don't know if I prefer black, but you choose. You can have a black interior. It's the same price for the black as you want. Here you have your control. So basically, one cool feature here is your mirror defrost is you just click this downwards like that, and it's defrost your mirror. Very handy to have here in snow country. And then you have just your window controls as well. Pretty deep storage right here. And I like that this has a carpet lining, just because when you have a plastic bottle or metal thermos bottle, it's not gonna scratch everything. It's not gonna have a rattling noise to it. So this carpet lining is actually a great idea by Volkswagen. Now, once we get in the seat, we have our 8-way adjustable seats right here with lumbar control. And over this way, we have our lighting. Let me turn that to auto. And we're going to start it up. Okay, so the headlight control actually has a button on the side here, and it's for your driver assist. So as you can see here, it tells you your driver assist functions. And you can go down like advanced cruise control, lane assist, side assist. and it's all controlled through this little arm right here. Now we're going to take you to the front steering wheel right here. It has all your advanced cruise control settings, not for settings, but setting and resume, cancel. This is your on and off, and this is for basically your spacing, as well as window. Now these are sliders, but you can also just press it down. It is piano black. Not a big fan of piano black, but it's also very easy to clean since it's one smooth surface. Plus, these are not just sliders. They're just, you can press the buttons if need be. Heated steering wheel. Fun fact: heated steering wheel has different heat functions, so you can have 3 different levels of heat that you can put it on. Now, taking you into the driver display. Different kind of information pages that you can go on. You got the regular gauge. So this is 100% digital, except for the fuel levels and the heat level. And yeah, different kind of screens you can go on. You can choose. You can customize what info you have there as well. I like this one. This tells you also which drive mode you're in and such. So, taking it to the drive modes, I'm gonna have you look right here, and so this is an 8-inch display, and you can select Eco, Normal, Sport, Custom, as well as if I turn the wheel down here, this is where you gotta change it to off-road mode, another custom mode, and you have your street and snow mode. So you change it right here, and that's where your driver selection. So different modes and different kind of terrain selection, which is pretty handy. The screen, I find, is very responsive. You have different kind of settings you can go through. Wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, always good to have. Now as we move down here, you have your heated seat, not ventilated seats, but it is heated seat, and you have all your temperature controls here. Yes, you can use it as a slider, or you can just press it as you wish. All right. I don't mind the sliders at all. I haven't had any issues. Once we go down here, we're behind the shifter. We have 2 USB-Cs and another 12-volt power. And this is a wireless charger, which is something that we didn't find in the Buick Envision. Now here you got your start, stop engine, auto start, auto off, park and brake, and your parking assist, which will help you trigger the camera. So if you press this, there you go, you have your camera. And in the cameras, we have a bunch of cool settings. I like this one, because if you're in a crowded parking lot, we're in a dead road right now, and you turn your steering wheel and you put it in reverse. There we go. It'll tell you where you can park. If there was like a bunch of cars here, you would find like a green space somewhere in here. But right now, because it's not reading any traffic or anything, so it's a pretty cool parking sensor. Then you got your trailer hitch. Now this can tow up to 1,500 pounds, which is about the size of a trailer. And then we go. You got the regular view, parking distance control. There you go. Put it back in park. And the cup holders. Now this is my handy dandy BioSteel sports hydration water bottle, and it doesn't fit in some GM. We were kind of surprised that it didn't fit in certain General Motors vehicles, but it does fit in this one. So this does pass the big gulp test, which is pretty cool. And as we open this, you get to see all my fuel expenses, but you just got a small center console, not a big deal, deep enough, no plugins in there. And we have your glove box. Okay. These seats are very nice and comfortable. I actually like them quite a bit. I've been driving this for over 561 kilometers now. Been sitting my butts in seats, and you know what? I like it. It's nice perforated leather. And my only thing is I prefer the black color. That's it. As we go up, we got an auto dim mirror. No cameras, no camera mirror back here. And we do have all your controls for your lighting, your sunroof, and sunshade. So I can just close this very easily. I love the panoramic sunroof. It just makes it all quite open. But I also love that you can just, at the touch of a button, shade it out when you're parking it in the heat. So, very cool feature. Last but not least, as far as audio goes, I'm going to go first and talk about a little bit of the speakers, which is a speaker system. I like the quality of it. I have no issues with these speakers. You know, for me, I'm not somebody who's going to be blaring music super loud, so it doesn't matter to me if it's a Bose or Federlite or JBL, or it doesn't matter. I think these speakers, the stock speakers, do just a good job as they are. And as far as the soundproofing inside this vehicle, I don't find it as good as maybe the General Motors soundproofing, but I have a Mazda CX-5 and I can find the soundproofing is about on par with that. So it's not the best, but it's still pretty good. Alright, so now we're just going to go for a drive and tell you guys what we think. Alright guys, so I'm just going to set up here to do our acceleration tests. I have it in sports mode. Just backing up. There is a bit of an incline, so I mean we'll see how this goes, but yeah, otherwise let's see what this 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder can do. All right, it's nothing to knock your socks off. And one thing I do have to say about these vehicles, like when you put it in sports mode compared to I'm going to try it in normal mode and we'll see how that goes. And I just don't, it's hard for me to tell a difference. I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I just don't see much of a difference coming from there. You know what? It's basically the same. I hit the same speed at the same distance. So yeah, it's nothing to blow your socks off. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is right now I'm just going to give you guys my opinion of the vehicle. And I think I want to focus as well a little bit more on the comparisons that we can make between, you know, what this competes with and where it stands as far as competition wise. You've got the Subaru Forester, which I like as well. You got a Mazda CX-5, which can compete with this. And you have other vehicles like the Toyota RAV4. But I think its closest competitor might be the Subaru Forester. And I say that because as far as price-wise, they're very close to one another. It's just going to come down to what you like best. Things I like about this car is, you know, the acceleration might not knock your socks off, but when you're driving every day, like when you stop at a stop sign and then you want to go to make a certain merge or something, there's no issues with that. It's got plenty of torque to do that. It's not going to win a race, but it's definitely a lot better than the Tahoe's. The 1.5 liter turbo that Tahoe's has, this is way better off the line, hands down. But when you compare it to the Subaru, I'd say it's about very similar. It just depends what style you want. Do you like the German angular Mercedes-like boxy vehicle, or basically like a Golf on steroids, then you know this vehicle is great. We had the Buick Envision that we reviewed, which is a little bit higher than this price line, but as far as features, you know, some offered features that this one didn't. For example, the Buick Envision did not have a wireless charging pad at the trim level we were at, the ST, which is comparable to this, but it's actually $5,000 more. Now, this has a wireless charge pad, but it doesn't have a heads-up display that the Buick had. So you gotta take what you want, and like I said, this at the price point of $42,000 Canadian or $35,000 US is actually really good. And on fuel, we've been doing quite a few fuel tests, but I'm running on average 50-50 city and highway. I'm going about 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers in Canada. And as far as miles per gallon, I'm not too sure. I'll write it down at the bottom. But the fuel economy of this vehicle is actually really good. In the city, it's 23 miles per gallon. On the highway, 30 miles per gallon, and which is 26 miles per gallon combined. For Canada, it's 10.2 liters in the city, 7.8 on the highway, which is really good. And I was actually able to get that and beat it. And 9 liters combined, which we are actually beating. So all in all, this vehicle handles good. The suspension, sometimes it feels loose and sometimes it feels okay. It's you know, it's not as comfortable as a Buick Envision, and it's not as responsive as a Mazda CX-5, but it's comparable to what you'll see in the Subaru Forester. So that's why I like to compare these two. As far as space, rear seat space, this beats out the Mazda and a lot of others. It just feels like there's more space in the rear seat, and that's actually Consumer Report gave it a 5 out of 5 for rear seat comfort, and I agree with that. Lots of space in this vehicle. It's actually very great for the price point that it's at. And yeah, I've had no issues with the software or using the sliders and the buttons. I actually enjoyed them quite a bit. And I think the only con I'd have to say is, yeah, if you're at high speed, this is not going to blow anything off the line. But you get really good fuel economy. So take some, lose some, right? And I think that pretty much covers the vehicle. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us. And like the video if you enjoyed what you saw. And we'll see you later.